Hello, I'm Rich Shealey, Chief Servant of HeartTransformed, Ending Racism. As we initiate this YouTube channel, the first thing you ought to know about me is I'm an intuitive empath. That has many meanings to different people, but it just means, from my point of view, that I'm able to operate outside of the box. My ability to gather and analyze information is not bounded by the imperatives of the status quo. So I'm trying to get as close as I can to what reality is about and how do we use all of our resources to unpack and create strategies to end racism. This channel will seek to give you the information that you might better understand racism, how it works within a human being, and how it can be ended. It is a very complex topic, many levels, complications and complexities within those levels, but we will work through that over time. So we want you to subscribe and follow us so that you'll be able to learn more about this important topic and how we can, as much as possible, put it behind us. Certain of you as individuals will find your ability to do this more readily than others, but we want to give you the information that will help you move as quickly as possible. I was born in Chicago in 1942. FDR was still president for a while. I've had a challenging life, and I've been able to move beyond many traumas. And there is a very strong connection between racism and traumas. My journey began at 6 months old when my mother delivered me to my beloved grandparents. Because I'm an intuitive empath, that was a very, very traumatic experience for me. When you are an empath, you feel things geometrically more intensely than the average person. So even though I was only 6 months old, at my unconscious levels, I recorded that experience as abandonment and a betrayal and unloved moment. It was very, very difficult and was hidden away in my unconscious memory stores for probably 70 years before I got the help I needed to recover that memory and understand it, take the negative energy of trauma out of it, and continue forward with my life. But that was a difficult moment. Like all melanated people, as I grew up, I noticed with great interest the way in which European derived people interacted with me. It was strange to me. I didn't really understand it, that people seem to have negative attitudes when I came into their presence. They didn't know me. There was no reason for them to be negative, but you get those funny glances and the grimacing, the rigid bodies, any number of things that lets you know that these people are not feeling comfortable with you in their presence. And out of all of that, when I was 17, I wrote a poem about it that I called Ode to Us, Reflections on a Black Child's Fantasy. And it's an interesting poem. I think it came straight out of my intuition, and it really describes in detail all of the angst and all of the horrible experience that a young melanated person has when they reflect on the way in which our society responds to them. All of that creates a dissonance between the way they engage society at large and the way they function with their family, friends, and possibly their community. It is a two consciousness kind of experience where you have to live out of one consciousness when you're in society at large, and you live in a completely different consciousness with your family, friends, and community. I was 30 years old when I was taught the lesson that those very high walls of race, racism, white supremacy, and income inequality, I was taught the lesson that those walls could be breached. And it was due to a great friend of mine, a lifelong friend from that time, Edward Shearer, who helped me to know that these walls could be breached. Now, Edward is a European deprived person, so maybe that'll help you out a bit. What happened was I was the first melanated person to complete the prestigious management training program at what was then Continental Bank, which was the leading commercial bank lender in the United States. This would be in 1971 that this incident occurred. And wouldn't you know it, my desk was almost immediately outside of the president of the bank's office. I had been assigned to the food, beverage, and warehousing group, which was the group that was a special place in the heart of the president. Every year he had an annual party called the Packers Party. It was at an exclusive golf club, so exclusive that I doubt anybody on the South Side knew this place existed. They didn't even have people of color as part of their staff. So the person in charge of the division called me to his desk and informed me that I would not be able to attend this party because no person of color had ever set foot on these grounds. And, you know, in my ignorance, I acquiesced without protest and returned to my duties. But my dear friend Ed Shearer, who had also been assigned to that group, would not have that at all. His response was, if Rich can't go, I won't go. Now, that was harmful to his career, but he took a stand on my behalf. And as a result of the stand he took, I ended up going to this Packers party and enjoying myself and had a great time. But the walls of race, racism, white supremacy, income inequality, the walls were breached that day. And thereby I would never have the same relationship with those walls as I had before that time. It was a new realization and a renewal of my sense of myself and my sense of possibility. And that really marked the beginning of my journey to where I am today, where in 2017 I crafted and pulled together a learning system to end unconscious attachments and unconscious identifications with race, racism, and white supremacy. And I, since that time, have been sharing and teaching that system to as many people as I could. Originally, there were 6 lessons, and the final lesson was a lesson about the consequences of staying identified with race and racism, and also the step-by-step solution that I recommended to people to help them out. But after delivering the class a couple of times, I decided that there was just too much information to combine those 2 topics, so I separated them, and now the learning system has 7 lessons. So I don't want this to be too long, so I'll stop it there, and I'll create a part 2. So welcome to my channel, Ending Racism Through Spiritual Growth and Life Transformation. Be talking with you again soon.